Well, good evening, everybody. We are going to go over a few of the many models as well as our forecast thoughts for the upcoming system here. So give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me. We'll go ahead and get started. We do have a little bit to talk about here. So with that being said, as far as timing goes, we are looking for snowfall to begin overnight into the early morning hours tonight. Go ahead and look at the model here. We're going to look at the HRRR for timing, but we're going to look at a blend of models as far as what we could expect and where to expect it. So this is your current model for the afternoon, going into the evening hours. Here's 10 p.m., 11 p.m. tonight, midnight. We go into the early morning hours of Friday. We see snow start to reach the state right around the 5 a.m. time frame in West Michigan. That's going to quickly overspread eastward, overshadowing the entire state as we get through the late morning, early afternoon hours. That will snow all day into the evening hours before clearing out of the state by around the sunset to right around 10, 11 p.m. time frame, maybe a bit later if it's a little bit slower than expected. But overall, in all day, you wake up, it's going to snow. You go to sleep, it'll probably still be snowing here in the state. So with that being said, that's for the general consensus. 5 a.m. to right around the 10 p.m., 11 p.m. time frame. Now, the big question is how much snow and where is it going to fall? We do have quite a bit here to talk about. So I do have some overlays tonight, not some models, but some overlays to show you. Instead of using a website, we're going to go ahead and overlay this. You guys should be able to see these better. So here is one of the models we use called the HRRR model. So we see a heavier swath of snow there, roughly from Mount Pleasant down to around the I-94 corridor. And in that swath, we see right around 4 or 5 inches of snow. Sometimes over closer to Lake Michigan, you're going to get 6, 7, maybe isolated 8. But overall, general 3 to 6 inch swath of snow right through the central part of lower Michigan. Above that, 1 to 2 inches up toward the Gaylord area. Could see isolated 3, maybe 4. And then below that, down towards the border, looking more so just a dusting of snow on this model. Now, this is one model solution. We do have many to go through, okay? Here's the NAM model. The NAM model is a little bit further north with the snow, although a general same area right there in central Michigan, a little bit further north, though. It's about a county tier north of I-94. So southern Michigan misses out, but central Michigan, still a good bullseye there, looking at around the 3 to 6, and then plus, I'm going to say put a plus in there, just because these models do kick out, 7, 8 inches sometimes. So 3 to 6 plus, we put a forecast out of 4 to 7. We'll get to that here in a second, but these models are saying 3 to 6. Now, let's go ahead and look at another model here, the FV3. So this one is, again, similar areas here, a little bit further south, but still a good swath there in the central, from Grand Rapids over toward the Lansing area, just north of Lansing, getting in the heavier swath of 6+ inches, but general same areas of 3 to 6 for that central Michigan area. And then further south, you do have a dusting, although Kalamazoo in this case does get about 2 to 3 inches. So this model in particular likes the Kalamazoo area in terms of snowfall. And further north you go, a little bit less of accumulation. And then also the last model we're going to look at here is the HRDPS. This is a Canadian model. It's a lot further south. It brings the heaviest snow totals almost down to the 94 corridor there. So just south of Grand Rapids, over toward Lansing, over toward the Macomb County area. You guys are in the heaviest swath on this model. So what does that mean? It basically just means there is a lot of uncertainty. It is what we call a forecaster's nightmare. We have very little confidence in this forecast with models all over the place. Now, we did release our forecast earlier today, which we have a good idea of what we could expect. But again, it's a forecast. It's not a guarantee. So the dark blue areas are areas we expect to get anywhere from 4 to 7 inches. That goes for Bad Axe, basically the entire thumb of Michigan there. Mount Pleasant, Ithaca, just north of Lansing. Grand Rapids is included in there. That's going to be your heaviest swath of snow, and that is going to be subject to change. What I mean by that is these models being all over the place, we really don't have any idea of where exactly that's going to set up. We just have the general consensus. It's going to be somewhere between Lansing and Mount Pleasant. Okay, so other areas included would be Muskegon, Let's go ahead and talk about Greenville, Ithaca, Carson City, St. John's, Chesaning, Owasso, all the way over toward the Flint area. We'll go ahead and put Flint in there. Frankenmuth, all the way through Kingston, Sandusky, Port Sanilac. You guys are all included in that heaviest swath of snow. The lighter blue colors are going to be 2 to 4 zone. It's going to be a pretty sharp cutoff. So it's going to be, again, coming down to how tomorrow plays out exactly. But overall, the 2 to 4 zone encompasses all the way over from Lansing. We're going to go ahead and include the Macomb County area, the North Metro Detroit, Farmington Hills, Novi, all the way over toward Brighton, Fowlerville, Potterville, Charlotte, Hastings. You guys are going to be in that 2 to 4 zone. And then north up toward the Traverse City, Ludington areas, you guys are also going to be at 2 to 4. So we're talking areas such as, pull these up here, Harrison, Houghton Lake, West Branch, Standish, Tawas City, in the 2 to 4 zone. The further north you go, the less we expect you to get toward the Gaylord, Mackinac, Rogers City areas. The UP, and especially, is missing from this map because the UP has its own forecast. We are expecting additional lake effect snow. This system does not scream snow for the UP, but the lake effect does kick in once again for Saturday for those areas. So the UP has a separate map, different time frame. 3 to 6 inches up there is our forecast, the highest forecast, should I say, and then 2 to 4 in that darker or the lighter blue area. And then the aqua color is 1 to 3. So UP is getting in the action with this with the next couple of 48 hours or so. And additional snow likely into the weekend for the UP as well. But overall, that is our consensus. We made a little bit of a funny forecast map. I'll go and throw it up here really quickly. We had really no idea this morning. And looking at some of these models, we just really had no clue where to go with this forecast. But with these afternoon models that we just showed you, we do come to the conclusion that we're going to have a swath of heavier snow, likely between 4 and 7, maybe a little bit more, maybe 8 or 9 inches in some spots in that darker blue zone. That could shift a county or two north or south. So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out tomorrow. Overall, that's our going forecast. And taking this back off the screen here and putting the model back up. Once again, your timing on this is 5 a.m. start time in West Michigan, moving eastward with time. So as the morning goes on into early afternoon, expect snow to overshadow the state. Snow is going to be on the lighter side. It's not going to be the heavy wet snow, will be light and fluffy, and also it's not going to snow very heavily. I do see a few forecasts calling for some heavier bursts of snow, which is certainly possible, but I think it's going to be more so the steadier, lighter type of snow. It's going to accumulate ½ inch an hour, maybe reaching an inch an hour in isolated spots, but overall, a very fluid forecast that is going to be subject to change with everything going on tomorrow. I hope that explains everything I needed to talk about here. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. If you're going to ask a specific location, please refer to the map before you ask, because we're going to tell you the exact same thing what's on the map here. So with that being said, I'll leave this up. I'll head to the comment section and I'll look for some questions you guys have. I want to scroll back up here. Yes, Pierre, Michigan, indeed. Julie, actually, you're one of the subscribers, so I'm going to message the subscriber group after this. That may be a possibility, although I don't think it's a very high possibility. Not many questions here, guys. Yeah, got it. 0 to 90 feet. Yep, that's about it. We honestly had no clue this morning. We had the general idea. We just didn't have any specific lockdowns until tonight, really. This afternoon, it really kind of started to come together a little bit better. And this is the forecast we come up with. We'll have an update tomorrow for this. I know it's going to be a fluid forecast. I'm not doing anything tomorrow either, so I'll be making updates as needed. I do not expect any south or north shifts at this point. You flip a quarter and you might be 50-50 at this point. So in terms of trends, I think this is maybe a trend just slightly by like 5 miles to the south, but overall nothing significantly shifted with the afternoon models. So we're going to keep it right here. If it changes, you'll be first to know. Auburn Hills 2 to 4. Wind speeds are, I didn't look at wind speeds, to be honest with you. Wind speeds should not be a factor, though, tomorrow. Pretty light Yeah, all through the day here, we're seeing 10, 15-mile-an-hour gusts there. So snow is not going to be a factor tomorrow. Didn't expect that to be. Any chance of rain closer to the Ohio line? A very brief window for rain there. I would not be shocked if we actually see like a mixed precip. It could be rain, snow, maybe some sleet or freezing rain mixing in. Nothing significant is expected with that, though. It'll be very short lived. But I think it's going to stay mainly snow and maybe just a brief changeover to rain. Good evening, Ionia County. Love to see you in here. We are too. We are too. We are ready for some warmer weather, but again, that's on the horizon, guys. We're looking at some warmer weather coming for early, or should I say mid next week. Yeah, the 2 to 4 range south of 96 is really kind of a good depiction there. We expect main accumulation to stay north of 96, but we could see it sneak down a little bit further south. But yes, good point there, Ionia County. When you guys are out tomorrow, if your car will allow you to, please turn your headlights on. Please do that. I know some cars that are more modern do not allow you to turn those on. It's a shame that they do that, but if you guys have the option, please turn your headlights on when you're out on the roads tomorrow. Genesee County, I expect it to start more so towards the 8 to 9 a.m. time frame for the east side. I go ahead and take back the potential radar here and take this off the screen. 1 second. There we go. Run this through the time frame again. Snow begins right here is 4 in the morning. We're seeing our first flakes, although this could be evaporating as snow saturates the air. I'd expect snow to fall closer to 5, 6 a.m. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. There's 7. We start seeing the snow on the east side. I think by 8, 9 o'clock, you should start to see snow penetrating and saturating the atmosphere and falling further closer to the ground. So right around the 8, 9 o'clock, I'm going to say. Sneak it on down. I'm ready. Yeah, I'm not. Luckily, I think I'm far enough south here that I'm not going to worry about it too much. But I don't want snow. I want spring. Do you expect school closings in Oakland County? I do not on the east side. I think the east side will sneak in, although I wouldn't be shocked to see a few isolated closings. The west side, I maybe lean more towards some closings tomorrow. I'm not the expert on that. I really don't know how schools operate like that. Although I have seen a few indications that they're considering closing more so on the west side of the state. East side, I think they're going to have enough time to get the kids home, although I could see why they would close, especially if they have days to use. We didn't really have that much of a good winter, so they may have some winter days or snow days to use. I can see that being a factor in decision making. We'll go ahead and throw the map back up here so you guys who are just joining can see the forecast. How much in Ann Arbor tomorrow noonish? I'm going to expect Ann Arbor to stay mainly just a trace up to an inch or so. If we see a further north or further south track, we could sneak Ann Arbor into the 2 to 4 zone, but I think it'll be on the lighter side for you. If you're in that green zone, expect a dusting or so up to about an inch. In Southwest Michigan, depends on where you're at in Southwest. That could be if you're in Hillsdale Southwest or Sturgis Southwest, you could be talking just a trace. If you're Battle Creek or Grand Rapids Southwest, and you're talking 2 to 4, 4 to 7. So yes, Justin, this is totals when it is done. It's going to be a pretty snowy day tomorrow. So starts early, ends late. It's also the day before spring break, so parents may keep their kids home anyways. Good point. That also could factor into some school decision factors as well. So we'll see. I wouldn't be too concerned in cold water there, Amanda. I think it's just going to be mainly a dusting for you down there. We could see a changeover to rain or maybe a mixed precip for a little bit, but overall, not expecting significant accumulations in that green zone where cold water is. No winds are expected, Anna. The Saturday snow is expected to be mostly in either the UP or potentially northern lower. This forecast is focused on Friday. I guess you guys really can't see in the bottom right there. I'll take the scroller on the bottom of the screen off there. You can see my face now, and you can see we put Friday for the map here. We do have a map here for the UP as well for lake effect snow through Saturday, which is this map right here. So 1 to 3 is a general baseline for the UP, and then areas may get 2 to 4 or 3 to 6, maybe more, depending on how everything sets up. Lake effect is very hard to predict, especially in the UP. But overall, that's going to be your forecast through Saturday. But we likely will see more accumulation through Sunday as well. Another system moves in for the Monday timeframe for the UP, and we're going to probably get rain here on that Monday. I see a few questions. I've seen a few questions, should I say, in the chat about the second system. We've been kind of talking about this for a little bit. We see the first band of snow coming for tomorrow. Here's your second system out to the west here. Here's these bands of snow. UP, northern Michigan, this is Sunday evening. Although that system will track off to the northeast, it'll leave the majority of the population in the lower peninsula in rain, but we could see the system start to snow for the UP and northern Michigan, which will likely accumulate 5 plus, I'm going to say for right now. We'll lock that down as we get closer to Monday, Sunday timeframe. But there is potential for a second system. But if you're the general population here who watches us further south in like Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids areas, you guys are going to be mainly rain, if not all rain at this point. I don't see a reason why we're going to see snow. Maybe just a few flakes at the start during Sunday, but I'm not concerned about it further south. Go ahead and throw the forecast back up. There we go. Which ones, Tony? The one that's on your screen right now? We use multiple apps. Anything from Fonto to PowerPoint. We have a few paid software apps as well we utilize as well. So we use a plethora of things. And the map is custom made for us by an unknown source. Good evening from Fowlerville. April, expect it to start right around the 5 to 6 a.m. time frame for you. Lapeer County, you're looking at 2 to 4. And again, this is subject to change here as well, because we're going to have a very interesting forecast. If you're just joining, we do have a forecast nightmare, so to speak. What this is basically showing you is we have 4 different models. We have more than 4 models, really, but the main 4 that we use for the short-term forecasting are all over the place. There's no agreement, and it's overall a messy forecast. So there's something to change here. Nothing is locked down. We just have a general idea, and this is our general idea. Yeah, Tony, that's a mixture of PowerPoint, our base map, and we also have custom city overlays and stuff like that. We can change cities out. We use a plethora of stuff. Livingston County, 2 to 4. Although you're on the line there of that lesser amount as well as the higher amount, so you're kind of in that transition zone where it could go either way for you. Is Flint in this snowstorm? Yes, Flint is in the snowstorm. I expect probably 3 to 6 area for Flint, probably 4 to 7, honestly. You're on the line there of 2 to 4, 4 to 7, so expect anywhere from 2 to 7, I guess, is how you can read that map. What time is it starting for Fruitport, Muskegon? 5, 6 a.m., around that time frame. Weberville, 2 to 4. What does the model look like for Friday between 5 and 7? Snow. I can show you. Give me a second. Go ahead and pull this back up. Between 5 and 7. Here's 5. I'll zoom in for you. There you go. There's 5 o'clock. And here's 6 and 7. Should be snowing pretty much the entire time. St. Clair County, probably closer to 9 a.m. for you guys start time. Looks like Nuego's in the bullseye. I'd say you're in the 4 to 7 zone for sure. Not expecting lake effect in Saginaw Bay there. Not expecting that at all. That's out of my pay grade, Lisa. I'm not an expert on school closings. I would expect a few, at least on the west side. East side, I wouldn't really, over towards Flint, I really don't think they're going to, I mean, they could. I just don't know if they will on the east side. I think the west side has a better chance of school closings than the east side does. But again, I'm not an expert, so. T to 2 means trace to 2 inches. So T equals trace, which is basically just a dusting, really, of snow. This is your accumulation at the end. Yes, Adam, the snow will melt. We're going to warm up into the weekend, and I can show you guys that here as well. Looking at a little bit longer term forecast. We go over long term and weekly stuff on Sunday evenings for those of you who want to watch on Sunday evenings. We talked about the system as well on Sunday evening, so get a good head start. But overall, this is your temperature graph. Looking at it through Friday, there's your Friday temperatures. Further south you go, it's more mild, which is why we're not seeing accumulations of snow down there. Over Saturday night into Sunday, here comes the warm air back, and by Monday, we're in the 50s, pushing 60 yet again. We could also be looking at a few thunderstorms, but I think the timing on Monday's system is a little bit too slow to be worried about thunderstorms out in Illinois, maybe. But for Michigan, it's just going to be a warmer type of day there. And then we look into the early parts, or mid parts of next week. We stay battling the cold air, but we're going to stay, I think, a little bit warmer than what this model does show. So any snow that does fall will likely melt by the end of Monday. Macomb County, you're looking at roughly the 2 to 4 zone, but you're sandwiched between the 4 to 7 and trace. I would lean more so on the 2 to 4 side. Ithaca expects snow to begin roughly right around that 8 a.m. time frame for you guys, 7 to 8 a.m. How many hours is the GFS good until it starts to get less accurate? The general rule of thumb for myself personally is about 150 hours. After that, we call it fantasy land. Just just a trace of snow there for downriver. Maybe some rain mixing in at times, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a concern. Bay City schools are already canceled. Okay, didn't know that. Wouldn't be shocked. I mean, with spring break already showing up here and expected snow, I can see why, but I'm not the expert. Any other questions, guys, before I hop off here? Cheryl, you can expect both wet freeways and probably some snow accumulations there. Depends on when you're going to be traveling. The later on you are, afternoon time frame, expect more of a snow possibility for those freeways. If you're traveling early or later, I would expect more so a wet solution. All right, guys, with that being said, I'm going to hop off here. Would appreciate if you guys hit the like button for me. It helps the algorithm out with the post. And we'll have updates tomorrow morning if anything changes. So I'll see you guys later. Stay safe.